Welcome to my channel. In this lecture we discuss scope of the variable in Java. The scope of the variable represents that in which part of the program a particular variable can be accessed. So in the Java, a variable can be declared in a block, or it can be declared in a method, or it can be declared in a class but out of all methods of the same class. So these are the different ways of declaring variables. So with respect to these three situations, we discuss the scope of the variable in the Java. So first we discuss a variable declared in a block. A block can be created by using braces. The open brace and a closed brace represents a block. So open brace means start of the block, closed brace means end of the block. So a block can be created like this, and block may not be given a name. Sometimes the block may be given a name, or block can be created without giving any name. So in this example, the open brace and closed brace represents one block, but this block is not given any name. So in the Java program, while writing the Java program, anywhere you can start the block like this without any name. So between these braces, so whatever the code we want to write, so we can write that code, and this part represents one block. So let us see one example. So this is a Java program. The Java class, the class name is demo. So in that main method, so in the main method I declared one variable a, integer type a, its value is 10. So this is not this is a part of the main method. So in this main method I am starting one block, so with open brace and closed brace. So but this block is not given any name. So without name, so we can create the block anywhere in the Java program. So in that block, I declared one variable b, its value is 20, and that variable can be accessed only in that block. So out of the block that cannot be accessed. That means the scope of that b variable only within that block. So this that part represents a block, so that block without a name. So that b variable can be used only in that block. Out of the block it cannot be used. So if you try to access that b variable out of that block, so then it causes error. So here that b variable b scope is only between those two braces, so where it's been declared. So this is one way of declaring the variable, so in the block, so without a block name. The second type is a variable can be created in the method. So method means here the same block, but this block will be given with one name. So let us see the example that open brace and closed brace. So this represents one block, so in that block we can write the code. So this is up to here. So this is similar to the previous first case, but in this second case, block can be created in the same way as that of the first case, but this block will be given some name. So here I am giving that name as a display. So this display is known as a, it will be called as a method name. So in this method, we can declare the variables. So let us see one example. Here the same class, demo class I am taking. So in the demo class, I am taking one method, that is display method. So after display, open brace and close brace, that represents block of that display method. So in this display method, I declared one a variable, that is 30. So now its scope is only within that display method, because this a variable declared in the block of display method, that's why it can be accessed only in that display method. So if you try to access that out of the display method, so then it causes error, means b equals to 40, so that causes the error, because that b variable we are trying to access out of the display method. So then its scope, the a variable scope is only within that display method, out of the display method we cannot access that. So next, third type is a variable can be declared out of all methods but in the same class. So here these variables can be an instance variables or static variables. So we discussed these two types of variables with the two different examples. So first let us see. Here I have taken one class name is demo, and one method m1 method, and this m1 method is instance method, and m2 method is static method. So when I'm using one keyword static, then it is called as static method. If static keyword is not used, by default it is considered as a instance method. So here m1 is instance method, m2 is a static method. Now I declared one variable a, so that a variable is not declared in any method, not declared in the m1 method, not declared in the m2 method. So out of all methods but in the same class, means that is in the demo class only that variable is declared. Now its variable type is a instance, because your static keyword is not used, so that's why by default that variable is considered as a instance variable. So when the instance variable is declared out of all methods but in the same class, so then its scope is from starting of the class to the ending of the class. Means throughout that class, everywhere we can access that variable, but only the condition is that a variable is instance, so that's why that can be used only in the instance methods, not in the static methods. So here m1 is instance method, so we can access that, we can print that a value in the m1 method. So because a variable is instance and m1 is also instance. But coming to the m2, m2 is static, so in the static method that instance variable cannot be accessed. So if we try to print that a variable in the m2 method, so that causes error, because m2 method is static, so in the static method that instance members cannot be accessed. So this is about instance variable declared out of all methods but within the same class. So next, coming to the static variable example. So here the same class I am taking, demo class, and m1 method is instance and m2 method is static, and I declared one a variable, but this a variable type is static type. So when it is static variable is declared in the class, but out of all methods, so then its scope is from beginning of the class to the end of the class. Everywhere in the program we can access that variable, so irrespective of the type of the method, that can be instance or static, so everywhere we can use that. So in the m1 and m2 method, if you try to print that a variable, no error will be raised, so we get the output. Thank you very much for watching my lecture.